Is Roxy's transformation a magic winx form or a believix form? This is one of the most debated topics in the Winx Club fandom, so let's break down each side's arguments so that you can decide what side you're on. Firstly, let's look at some arguments in favor of Roxy's transformation being a magic winx form, with the first and probably strongest being that believix is a higher fairy form, meaning a fairy can only gain that transformation after they've earned enchantix. Roxy didn't know she was a fairy until season 4 and doesn't transform for the first time until season 4 episode 12, with this outfit being her first ever fairy form. It therefore stands to reason that Roxy's transformation just can't be a higher fairy form like believix because she hasn't earned enchantix yet. Unless of course you're prepared to make the argument that this isn't believix or magic wings and is actually enchantix. The second argument is that Roxy doesn't seem to use any of the special believix wings or have access to the gifts of destiny. You could argue that maybe we just don't see Roxy using these abilities and that there is actually a doll of her that comes with a pair of speedix wings designed for her, but a lot of people argue that only the events of the show, movies, and books are canon, so therefore the dolls and what might have happened outside of the series shouldn't be considered. Finally, in season 4 episode 19, when Roxy asked to come along on a mission, Bloom responds with, and I quote, "This mission is too dangerous for a fairy with no believix powers," which is just straight up stating that Roxy isn't a believix fairy. However, there are also some very strong arguments in favor of her transformation being a believix one. Without a doubt, the strongest of these arguments is that on the 7th of May 2016, Winx Club posted a video on their official YouTube account in which they labeled Roxy's fairy form as believix. Along with this, Roxy is also included in the 2009 believix fairy doll line by Witty Toys. These are pretty strong pieces of evidence, but once again, a lot of people argue that if it didn't happen in these shows, books, or movies, then it's not canon. However, speaking of canon, in issue 68 of the comics, Bloom states that Roxy has believix magic, meaning in our rule of canon, Bloom has stated that Roxy both is and is not a believix fairy.
I can't go out.
Allergic to consistency.
Boo, you whore.
Other arguments in favor of her transformation being believix are that her fairy form is a lot more aesthetically similar to believix than to magic winx, that she transforms using the believix song, and that she was initially intended to have a butterflix transformation, which is another higher fairy form, before the idea was ultimately scrapped. I personally believe that Roxy's transformation is just her magic winx form. I think Rainbow Studios designed her fairy form to kind of look like believix so that she would fit in with the rest of the Winx girls and encourage viewers to accept her as the 7th member of Winx, but that in canon, as it's her first fairy form and she hasn't earned enchantix yet, it's just her regular magic winx form. There's a really great Reddit thread by this user, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, where they go through more arguments in favor of each form, as well as mention some great theories. I am kind of tempted to make a video in the future about all of the fandom's theories kind of regarding Roxy's transformation, so let me know if you'd be interested in that. Otherwise, what do you guys think? Do you think Roxy is a magic winx fairy, a believix fairy, something else? Let me know your thoughts, theories, arguments. I want to hear it all, okay? Tell me everything.